Today is August the 31st. This is the Service Hero Show, 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. My name is Tamara Hunter, and this is the show where we tell the inspiring stories of those that are inspiring others. So let's do this. Today we have a very exciting show, and no, it's not Halloween. However, we have we've got 4 of the 5 coaches right now. One is on her way. She is traveling here from Australia, so we'll give her a few moments. I know she is going to be with us. We have the 4 of the 5 coaches: Coach Cheryl, Coach Melissa, Coach Jason, and my coach, Coach Todd. We will, I had to show the names because they're too much fun. So yes, I'll get rid of the ones I had prepared. And we've got, where did Jason go? All right, well, we've got, he left. He'll be back in a moment. So, let's go around and introduce you. Then we're going to show a little video to share, because you are all winning coaches. Every single one of you. And that's what's so exciting about what happened with the first season of the Impactor. Because when you look at the 5 top Impactors, each one of you was represented. And so that in itself, I believe, shares that it was a pretty spectacular time. Okay, now we've got him back. So I'm gonna let you. Yes, it's a fun group. I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourselves, and the way that we're going to do this is we're going to work backwards. And so let's see. I have to remember. So, Coach Melissa, you had the couple. In fact, you had a few of the couples, right? And why don't you introduce yourself? Yeah.
I sure did. I believe we started off with 3. I think there were 3 teams that were couples, and all 3 ended up on my team, and it was a lot of fun. So I think I had 13 total contestants, if you count each individual. So it was a lot of fun.
And tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Melissa Hall. I am an author, speaker, and the CEO and founder of the Global Media Academy. So I basically help people take their message and broadcast it to a larger audience using streaming networks like Roku and all of the alike.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, Jason.
Hello.
Also known as the Bald Avenger and Todd's daddy. Okay, so you have
mainly Todd's daddy. I just want everybody to know that I decided to come to this show and be safe so that none of you on screen get COVID. So I am the most magnanimous one on the screen today, okay? Just so everybody
get all
knows.
the credit for that. You do. Okay, so you were the coach of Christopher D. Casson, which I can say he won my heart. I know he won a lot of people's hearts, and you were his coach. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that and introduce yourself?
I just also wanted to get it on record that I allowed Todd to win because he needed the ego boost at the time. It was like something, I love you. There was no rigging of the contest or anything. It was just, he needed a win, and I wanted everybody to know how amazing I am. So for doing that, okay? Just so you know. So Christopher Casson, let's take that silly thing off. Christopher Casson. Oh, my biceps are bigger than his too. So
I'm Christopher Casson.
So Christopher Casson, as everybody knows, anybody that gets to know the guy, you know that it was my blessing really to have him as somebody that was on my team. It's interesting when you interact with people and different human beings that you have a certain idea going into how to coach or how to lift them up. And really it's their personality that comes out. A good coach, a good leader always looks to the strengths of the human being. And Christopher has so many strengths that so many people overlooked in his life. And now he's just he's thriving at a super high level because he came out, he stepped up, he put himself out there in front of the world and has a hard time communicating like the rest of us, but is smarter than probably 10 people that I know. Right. His writing is amazing. His eye for art is amazing. He's just an amazing kid. So I really enjoyed coaching him and the rest of my team. It was amazing. And it was fantastic, having it in my heart to let Todd win, but go back to you now.
Well, thank you for that generosity, and thank you for showing your face. It's nice to see that smile. Okay, then we had number 3, Mistie Layne. So, Coach Cheryl, you were the coach that you got everybody I knew going in. I was the odd one out, and it was like, okay, this is good. This is good. Good opportunity. I get to meet new people. And you got to work with an amazing team. Mm-hmm. You had a lot of twists and turns, as you could say. Mm-hmm. And so I'd love to hear a little bit about being Mistie's coach. We're going to go into this more about the team and the team atmospheres just a little bit now, and then introduce yourself.
Well, I am Cheryl Connor, and yes, I had the team of teams. Every single one of the 10 was a contender. And so that was both remarkable in that there was so much talent to go around and so many ideas, and everyone was really magnanimous in sharing ideas and strengths with each other. But it also, when we went from the 50 people to the 25, I was down to tears. I was on the phone with Lauren and just, I can't do this. I have to abdicate. I cannot do this. I can't select. Can you give me 6? I was negotiating. I was bargaining because there were so many sharp talents in that group of 10. Mm-hmm. And over the course of it, I did get to know many of the 10 closely. And in fact, Mistie's family is so remarkable. I even ended up rooming with them at the event itself, which was quite the experience, quite fun. Her daughter, Lauren, and her son, Austin, that was just really, really fun. So we had quite the experience. I don't think anyone slept.
That's what I heard.
and even when it was time to sleep, there was just too much adrenaline flowing. So, and we were, of course, in the same hotel with you, Tamara, so we remember that. And just too much fun, but what an experience, never to be forgotten. Those relationships are like family now, and they will continue forevermore.
Absolutely. Okay,
and I let you win too.
Thanks for that.
So now we have Vicky, Coach Vicky, because she, of course, was with Emily. And when Vicky gets here, we'll have Vicky introduce herself and learn a little bit more about her. Lots going on with her. And then there was one, we have Coach Todd, my coach. Coach Todd, why don't you introduce yourself? I love your sign.
Thank you. I just want to make sure, like I said, Jason saw this. Even though it was gifted, I feel like, Jason needed to lift people up. That's what he does. He's such a magnificent human being and just an awesome person. Like, I don't know how we live without Jason allowing us each to win it right. And Jason, I want to thank you for giving everyone in the world a chance to take victory. So
breathe in,
rub your and make a wish. So that's good. Listen, first and foremost, I got to tell you, in all honesty, it was beyond when I tell you it was an honor to sit next to these coaches who in my mind were well above me in stature, intelligence, and growth to where they were trying to grow in life. It was just an honor to even be there. It was funny because when I heard about the Next Impact and this calls me and asked me to be the coach, I was like, well, shit, I was going to be a contestant. I thought it was cool, And then they said, well, no, we want you to be a coach. And just the honor to be there, sitting next to each one of these coaches, it was just amazing. So that was a big, big experience for me because I've learned so much from, Melissa Hull, Cheryl. I've just watched you and what you are and who you are in the community. It's amazing. Everybody knows Jason, on a serious note, is just probably one of the most exceptional business people on the planet. And just to have that luxury of sitting there with those people, and Vicky, I mean, powerful. She is just an extraordinary human. So for my own personal experience, it was an unbelievable thing for me to be going through, sitting side by side and watching these, tasks that we had to do every week. I'll be honest, I was a little nervous in myself because I hadn't had the experience and the knowledge to kind of give them. I thought at least had to try to give them the tools that you guys had needed to succeed. What really came with that was an open heart and open mind that we just found growing as one, which inevitably is what I do. I build sales teams and I build leadership and I do leadership training. And I found that it was kind of a really cohesive environment because when I walk into a business and I teach them how to lead and how to build these teams from a family environment, that's how they thrive. There's no titles. You walk, through the trenches together like an infantry line. That old leadership meme where the guy's whipping somebody and they say, oh, the right way is where the leaders is holding or pulling them. It's not the right way. The leadership is side by side. There's no one person that's bigger than the other. I learned just as much from you guys as you ever learned from me. So my company, Make Sales Great Again, that's what we do. You know what I mean? We help companies rise. We create efficiencies that just are extraordinary based on building teams and respecting one another from a leadership standpoint as one rather than letting the titles get in the way. So having the luxury and which was really so hard when Jason had called me and said, hey, we want to do a trade to bring Coach in, I was just like, man, that was the coolest thing ever. And I was like, dude, let's go. Like he's amazing. He was an unbelievable person to work with and actually move to our team. And inevitably, you won this event because it was an extraordinary effort from day one. The amount of work and integrity you have as an individual, I don't even like, hearing the fact that, I was your coach. It's more importantly that you were mine. So I was blessed.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Okay, I'm going to play something because it's going to, we'll have Lauren with us in spirit, at least with this, and it's going to share the different, your winner, and that's what I just love about this. The 5 coaches each had a contender that was up there on that stage. We're going to show this, and then we're going to go into a little bit of the dynamics of the teams. I'm excited about that.
We all have hopes. We all have dreams. We all have a purpose. And we all have a message. The time has come. That day is here. Where a door of opportunity stands before you right now. That chance, the moment where you have the opportunity to change everything, and everything has the opportunity to change you. Sharing our messages, our stories, our gifts, our truths. Well, that is what living is truly all about. Creating legacy, and crafting healing from all directions. Now is when it all comes together. Right now is when it all begins to make sense. So bring all that you have ever lived. Bring all that you are today. And bring all that you hope to ever become. Now, ask yourself, am I the world's next impactor?
Now, this is a Service Hero show, so you all served your teams. And I really, there's been always questions because, being the one that is out there with the title, I get questions a lot. And so, of course, they want to know, sometimes I get questions, what's it really like being around this person or that person? We won't like point fingers at who they may be asking about. However, with that said, you had distinctive different people that came. You had 10, and then there were 5. And then, towards the very end, they did do the little, shenanigans where they were going to take it down to 10, and then they were going to take it down to 5, and then down to 1. They took it down to the 5. However, with that said, you all had different styles, and you came with different skills because the way that they were looking at it was to come have 5 coaches that had distinctly different skills that all combined together to put together an amazing team at the very end. And so you're coming from your focus. And I can say that what Todd was saying about the family, and I'll share at some point, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And it was to the very end. And thank goodness. And so I'd love to hear, and starting from you again, Melissa, if you don't mind, if you want to just share what it was like. Here you had the only team with the couples, and then you had some changes that took place, and I know what's been shared with me about your strengths and what they loved about you as a coach. What would you say, as being the coach, you felt your coach dynamics or your environment was? And she's missing now. So we'll go to next one on that list would be Todd's daddy, also known as the bald inventor. Well, I think I know the answer to this one too. However, with that said, I'd love to know what going into it, did you have it in mind to have a certain type of a style or a certain type of a feel for your team?
It's interesting, the question, and then, historically before this, and then what's going on now and what's happened with the team, ever since, it is that I treat everybody exactly the same. It doesn't matter. I mean, Christopher, it didn't matter. I mean, I might beat up on Todd a little bit more, but it's, well, I mean, every school has special education, right? So it's, but at the end of the day, like, because this is what I do. I mean, we fix businesses for a living. I buy companies. I'm constantly dealing with employees. That dynamic has always been the same for me. And so when all these people end up on my team, what my job is to find their strengths, right? And then also to identify their weaknesses, things that they may fall back onto in times of crisis, and where they go to, where they hide, right? And it's interesting to watch the interaction. We were a team, but it's like wrestling, right? It's you have team scores, but it's you and that other person on the mat. And it was every single person on my team against against the life that they are trying to build. And so that's how I approach it. It's how I approach everything that I do in life. And so what I thought it was going to be didn't matter. I mean, I go in to win. The very first meeting that we had, in the first 5 minutes, I said, look, if you're coming on to Team Jason, we're doing this, and your idea is you're going to win. Because too many people in life don't set themselves up in that scenario to walk into life saying, you know what, I'm going to win. And what does that mean to me? And how do I design that? And then and only then can you have the steps that you're going to build towards it, because you are where you are in your bank account, your happiness, your weight, your joy, your relationships, all that stuff. You are where you are because of your behaviors and your thought processes, right? So the idea was to take this group of unknown people, to me anyway, and to build them, regardless of the competition, was to build them into somebody that was better off for having known me, right? And then to push them into that scenario and to watch them thrive and to watch them grow and to watch them change after the competition and the new levels of confidence and competence in a world that wants you and rewards you for being a victim, right? And this world will always, no matter how many people no matter how often you scream for the deck to be stacked for you, that means that you automatically walk into the game thinking the deck is stacked against you, and it's not. This world is a competition. This world, it's all set up that way. So I didn't want to get into preaching here, but at the end of the day, it's a great lesson for the world that we live in right now. Even with everything that's going on, the focused person who knows where they're going and is implementing the principles of success, which will never change, are going to be the ones that win.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for that. And it's all right. We understand who you are. So a little preaching is totally in place. Okay, Melissa, now that you're back, let's go back to you. Okay. Give you your
I'm not sure I knew what the question was, because I think
the question would be, what was it like? Did you go in because you come from a certain background, of course, and did you go in thinking, okay, I am looking to create this team with this type of a dynamic, or this is the kind of feel I want, or these are the kind of rules I want to run it with, whatever it may be, and then what did the culture end up coming out like?
When I began this process, it was new. It was the first time I had coached in a competition. And so it was a little bit unknown as to what was going to be thrown at us. And knowing Lauren Harris as I do, he likes the element of surprise. So he doesn't give you a whole lot of details going into things. And so I think I was really just open to the process and knew that I was going to have to be kind of flexible. I was going to have to kind of bring my A game with everything, obviously, but also be very adaptable to the changes and the curveballs that were going to be thrown at me. And so I wanted our team to really establish great communication and really identify who.
Oops.
Well, if you guys want to know, she's angled towards me, technically blowing me a kiss. I'm just going to put it.
Well, there you go. There you go.
We're ready at all
Right
times.
above Jason, right to me. That's it. That's fine.
Not
All
one of
right.
the people who freeze
have-
with a weird face.
I have a feeling that she'll be back in a few minutes. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, she will be. Okay, so now we're going to go to Cheryl. Cheryl, the same question. And you come from a public relations background, business owner, work with a lot of different types of businesses. So what was your expectation? And yes, you had an amazing group of people.
I did.
Oh my goodness. You talk about powerhouses.
Yeah, I know.
And so, what do you feel that your culture then was able to be? Where did you come? How did you get to where you got? Because I know where you got, and a lot of people are going to say, how did you do it?
Well, I'm naturally born, I guess, an achiever and a driver, and so that was inherent to me. But when we came to this competition, Lauren assured me, oh, this is going to be, you've got such strong people on your team. This is going to be easy piece of cake. That was not the case. And if you think about it, if you've got 10 people and most of them, they're predominantly strivers themselves, what do you have? That was quite the basket of opportunity. And it was also drama central. I'll be quite open about that. And we had 2 members, and I fought and advocated for both of them who really felt they needed to withdraw, and we wouldn't let them. Coach Chuck with his wife going through her cancer treatments and her chemo treatments. I mean, he formally submitted his resignation, and we wouldn't let him. He was still in. And Tamara, because you were involved too, cross-team kind of work here, but Mikey Adam Cohen, he was going through some real family transitions. That was difficult. And, when it came down to me selecting only 5, Lauren kept telling me, okay, you need to choose the 5 that are most ready for this competition. There may be some in your fold that are perfectly strong and are achievers and winners, but maybe next year is their year. And even so, and I guess it can be told now, but Lauren did kind of intimate to me that it was legal for coaches to cross-nominate, and kind of implied to me that, Coach Chuck is going to be okay. So I took him at his word and painstakingly submitted my 5. And I tell you what, those guys kept me going till the last second, the last name pulled. Where's Coach Chuck? I was just about to melt into the floor at that point. I was under so much agony. But you know what? The right things happened. They all came through. Amazing people who actually, even though I provided coaching to each of them equally, and I could not share private ideas among them, but provided ideas to all, and then it was up to them how they wanted to approach and go forward. It all came through, and they were all pulling for each other as well as themselves. And I'm really honored and full of admiration for that fact. And it came out just as it should have come out.
Well, thank you. Melissa, 3rd time's a charm. Let's
Oh my gosh.
And Melissa,
no worries.
Conversations with Melissa, and this happens often.
I wish it didn't, guys, but when you live in the boonies like I do, so middle of nowhere Arizona, you have problems with Wi-Fi because it's not just like a cable. I have this satellite dish, and anyway.
It's what happens when you live, on a reserve where you have to have passwords to get in, and there's armed guards, and right now the butler's literally holding up the thing right now. Hey, ma'am, is this okay?
You just know me too well.
He's got a mask on. That's the end of the call.
He does have a mask on.
Exactly. So as I was saying, communication was one of the things that I knew we had to establish. And then within that communication protocol, like what needed to come first, second, third, in order to create the storyline and tell the narrative for each one of these challenges that we had each week, which was basically producing a video, sharing an idea, thought, or message. And we had a lot of, back and forth, and there were many times when they would work really hard on something and I would say, it's not right. There's no discernible message here. There's nothing that we're communicating clearly. So we would have to start over. And that was really tough and challenging for people. But I knew that if we could get the narrative right and share our idea in a comprehensive and
Todd, it's your turn.
I agree. We can just finish her sentences for her. We know what she's going
to say.
Well, and I will say this for when she's watching it later, Melissa, the information you're sharing with us right now is information all of us need to be hearing. It's wonderful. And so I want to thank her, and she'll be back. Okay, now, then there was one. Todd, I already know. Now, I'm going to speak up a little bit here because I was on your team. And the fact that you mentioned the family feel, that was one of the things that you kept coming out with all the time. about how that is so important. And truthfully, it was something that in many ways I really struggled with, because of the fact that of where I was, because of the, I putting all this energy into a nonprofit for so many years, and then running for this. It was something that I needed to hear continually. I needed to hear it. I needed to hear it again, and I needed to hear it again. And I want to say personally, thank you for that, because it is something that we all need to be, all of us that are, if you will, a driver kind of, personalities, the driver types, that we need to be brought back to that reality, and then ask ourselves, well, if I'm not really solid in that area, why is it? And what do I need to do about it? Because so many times in the business world, we're asked those business questions all the time. So I can rattle them off pretty easily. However, I was not expecting the business coach, one of the sales and closing coaches, to go to the family as number one. And so I want to say that really meant a lot to me personally. And I want to say thank you for that. And then we're going to give Melissa the stage one more time, and then I'm going to let you speak, Todd. Okay, go ahead.
So as I was saying, I think we were really successful. It brought us together as a team, because the challenges, we had to work through them and talk through them, and frustration sometimes gets the best of people. And, we even had some tense moments, some really tense moments. And, but all in all, I know that our team really came together, and we really did kind of band together like a little mini family. And we loved coming together and working with each other. And the competition just really gave us opportunities to kind of highlight and really let people shine, because there were people that just really stepped up and did an amazing job. People who didn't really feel like they had those skills developed those skills, and in terms of video production or photography or just writing in general. So it was really good to see how everybody just kind of evolved and grew together as a team, but also individually.
Thank you. And thank you for, I want to recognize the fact that I understand when you are somewhere where there is that kind of a challenge with your, with your stream or your internet, and you're also sharing right now and showing right now that you're showing up, and you keep showing up. And that is also what an impactor does. They don't give up. They keep showing up. And thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, back to you, Todd. Now you were given a very interesting dynamic in your team, and I know that because I was there. And we had two of the international people, so we had that struggle. One of the international people didn't even really have internet access or computer access much, and the other one was traveling between two distinctive continents. And then we had a group of people that knew each other pretty well, that knew each other really, really well. And then you had the odd one out that was from the other contingency that was pretty much over in Cheryl's group. And so that provided some challenges right off the bat, but you got going. And so if you want to kind of share, other than the family feel, anything else that you want, because we really did end up with a cohesive team.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, it gives me the chills even talking about, because having someone, other continents and the decision they're making to kind of get into a competition like this and give everything they have is second to none in my mind, because with lack of internet, with lack of the time frame structures, with all sorts of things getting in the way of like your maximum efficiency, we still made it happen. And it was pretty cool to see it. Watching this team come together was awesome. I think a lot like Cheryl said, we had people that I would have personal conversations where men and women that were in tears on the phone, ready to give up. You talked about Lauren and the element of surprise, Melissa. Well, the truth is that you know, it was an element of surprise for the coaches too. I think I had conversations with all of you guys about, you know, the time that it was going to take to put into this thing was not tenfold or probably 100x of what we thought it was going to be. And I think we can all agree to that. When you are at a coaching level, and this is what you do for a living, regardless what your platform is, time is definitely money. And we all really, I want to commend the coaches again as well because I feel like at that point, there were so many coaches that they're like the coaches, Jason's and the Cheryl's and all these individuals and Vicky's, that were really just sacrificing a lot of time, which meant a lot of money and a lot of coaching skills that other people needed to really just give it everything they had. So for me, you know, running a pretty large business at that time from a corporate level, I looked back and I said to myself, man, it's not really I always go back to family because, you know, now that I go into companies to help build, listen, you can have the most efficient company in the world when it comes to logistics, right? And profitability. But if you don't have a happy culture and you don't have the people there willing to work side by side, the company's going to fail. So from a consulting standpoint, when I go into companies now, and trust me, never in a million years do I think, you know, I knew or had what it took a lot of years ago to go into a company and actually help them and grow. Now I know that that's what it takes, because when you have so many obstacles, we have to kind of find the way, right? Find that path. You guys found that path very quickly. And when we had individual issues, we kept them private. We would talk. You and I had several conversations privately. We'd be on the phone for hours. I was same with a lot of the other contestants as well. But it was an absolute gift, because watching this team grow, watching the other teams grow, and just the creativeness behind such amazing minds was a sight to see. So although, and I know Melissa and I had several conversations too, we're like, holy shit, like this is like 70 hours a week. Like, what are we, like, this is nuts. Lauren told us, that's okay, guys, a couple hours a week. You know, Lauren, he's probably home cracking up because he's got 5 powerful people giving all their time, you know, to really impact lives. He also knows our character, that it's the last thing we're ever going to do is turn our back on something when we say that we're in it. That's just not who we are as coaches and people. So, yeah, the dynamic for our team was quite an array of different personalities. And again, like you said, different continents, different structures in life, where we're at. But man, I felt like it was a perfect puzzle, and the pieces just fit together. The Tamaras, and we needed the Coach Chucks that came on our team later, and we needed the people in the other country. We needed so many of these amazing contestants just kind of come together. And I think that's what inevitably helped us rise. And if you remember towards the end, I know we keep going to the family and teamwork thing. You know, it was really us working together to kind of help you rise when we got to that point. Tamara, everything we have to get her to rise and do what we can to help you win. And it just came in with hard work. You know, and I'm going to say this last thing. You know, a lot of people always say that, you know, successful people, everything they touch turns to gold. It's not true, man. It's just not true. You know, I have people come to me all the time. They're like, you know, it's crazy how well you've elevated your life. Everything you touch turns. It's not. Jason, Cheryl, Melissa. It's a massive dedication to guaranteeing success. There's no substitute for hard work, and there's no one person that's better than the other. When you remove ego and arrogance from an equation, the success is inevitable. Which, you know, it's the reason why Jason's still growing. So, but whatever.
It's my lunch and my breakfast.
I want to share something else in a moment here, and I'm going to piggyback off of what you just said, Coach Todd, and that is the fact that you really did bring that family culture in from the very beginning. And when we got to the very end, it was the family, it was the team that rallied together and we're working together up to the very last minute. And that is the thing that I have to say that it was the most exciting, because and then the fact that so many of the team from not only our team, but from all of the teams have now joined me in what it is that I was running on the platform of the nonprofit that has a greater purpose and a real need to make a difference to ease the suffering of isolation that are affecting so many with cancer, yet now so many in the world because of what we are experiencing. So I have something I want to share so that everybody understands what it is that we were going for with the win. It wasn't my name was on any trophy. It was this right here. So I'm going to share it.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been shown that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
So there you go. You know, when you think about it, thank you. When you think about it, we all won, and that is what I want the message to be for everybody that has been here over the last 2 days, because yesterday we had the top 5, and actually 6 because of the couple, Nancy and Scott, and then we have you here, and everyone won, including those that entered, and they may not have made it to the top 50, they may not have made it to the top 25. However, if they were in the top, if they put their name in the hat, that intention right there of I am a global impactor started them on a journey. And so I want to personally say thank you for being the coaches that you are, and thank you for the amazing team members that you helped to mentor and coach, because many of them now are helping our nonprofit. So as we are coming together now, what do you guys think about if you were to be handed this task one more time, not knowing what you know or knowing what you know, either one of the two, but if you were called and said, okay, we want you to be a coach and it's this program, and or for any of the coaches that may be considering this next season, what would you say was your biggest, what did you learn? What was the biggest nugget that you learned and that you would like to be able to share to someone else, even if it was yourself, in looking at the opportunity one more time?
Tamara, do you mind if I go first? I got to get to a plane. We're doing a mission this weekend.
Yes, absolutely.
Found some little girls we got to go get. So
yes, and thank you for doing that. Yes, go ahead.
Yep. So first off, I mean, because this is going to be the last thing that I say, I'm always going to be your coach forever. Like whatever you need, you work harder than most people that I've ever met. And, being able to work with you after the competition and seeing you at hearing and, putting together that big telethon and all the stuff that you did. I mean, you're an amazing human being. And I just want everybody to know that, and the right person won this, and you have taken that, and you're winning every day because of the world that you serve. So I just want everybody to know that I have a tremendous amount of admiration for you. Cheryl, Snapp, Connor, one of my favorite human beings on the face of the planet, who, by the way, I miss you terribly. I hope I can see you soon. And Melissa Hull, radically talented, beautiful, and heart-centered and hardworking. And, and then there's Todd. but in all honesty,
hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Is that talking yet or no?
Yeah, there you go. So Todd, and Todd is an extremely capable, competent person. When he gets into his realm, there's nobody better at what he does than he is. And so bringing all of that together, and Vicky, what a powerhouse, from her side of the world, so that experience was amazing. Getting to know everybody was amazing. Everybody on my team was amazing. And I had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And so looking, what was the nugget that I took out of it? It was just, believe in, when you see people, look into their heart, look where they're hurting, and help fix that with love and belief, because that's what a lot of people are missing, right? They're missing that. All of these people that you see out there burning stuff down, they're screaming out for somebody to pay attention to them. They're screaming out for somebody to love them. They're screaming out for attention that they've never gotten. And we can do that every single day with a smile. We can do that every single day with our interaction. And being the next impactor, which, Lauren and Jeff's amazing thought process to bring this to fruition, and then the gargantuan amount of work that it took to get it across the finish line. I have so much respect for them making it across the way. I wanted to literally bite. I mean, if it was a fight, I would have bit Lauren's ear off a couple of times. But at the end of the day, it came together in service of other people. And if I could wrap up, the biggest nugget is that as long as I'm surrounded by all of you and the people that were on the team, I know that your heart is based in service and not selfishness. And that's a team I always want to be with for the rest of my life. So I love you, Tamara. I think that the work that you continue to do is amazing. And I hope more people follow you. And I'm going to always be a giant supporter. So that was my big nugget. And I now have 7 minutes to get out of here.
Well, you go. Be safe. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you
for
what
love you guys.
Doing. Love you too.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. All right. Melissa. Cheryl.
I learned so much, not only about the causes, but each of the contenders. I mean, they were in this because of situations they've lived, every one of them to a person. This is not just, I woke up one day and decided to become magnanimous and I'm interested in helping others. Deep-seated parts of their persona, you included, Tamara, who it was because of your own life experiences, you became so deeply invested in the causes that you're supporting now. That was true for each of them. And that just touched me down to the core and instilled in me a desire that, to a degree that never existed prior, to support those causes, to support those groups of individuals, and to support the people who are giving up so much of themselves to help make better the things that were painful for them in their own prior backgrounds. So I would absolutely, I'd say the only thing I would say about if someone came to me again, now knowing everything that I know, I would turn to the next people coming up and say, I do not want to take that opportunity away from you. I do want to be a part of this, but I want to give you your opportunity too. So I will find another role, and I would like to support the next tier of coaches in gaining all that they can gain and in doing all that they can do to make this program continue to succeed.
I agree. Thank you. Thank you so very much for that. And thank you for your support and everything that you've done for me. I appreciate you.
Of course.
Melissa.
Let's hope I can stay on long enough to finish a sentence, right? I would say to anybody who is wanting to come in and be a part of this, that you need to be ready to really grow. There was a lot of personal growth, I think, that happened for me as a coach, just being able to work with these, they're all just dynamic people, and I'm so proud of the Kieslings for, being in the top 5 and what they've done. But each one of the people that were on stage, everybody was there to make a difference. And so if you're looking for a community where you can take your desire to, have that rippling effect and kind of, magnify it times, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people, this is an environment where you can do that. And it's everybody is so willing to help partner and support each other that there was a lot that was being accomplished without a lot of effort, because everybody came with the attitude to make a difference, to want to serve, to want to do something larger than themselves that would go on beyond them as well. So it's just the kind of environment where I think you find amazing people. And so who wouldn't want to be a part of a community of just amazing, heart-centered, achievers, whether they be in business or in, community activism or just, awareness programs, education programs. We had everything, environmental projects, just everything under the sun. You can talk with people and really see how to get things done in a way that just it's effortless. It's easy. It's just been a wonderful experience. So, yeah, I say join us.
Yes, and thank you for everything you have done for me and being there to support me. I appreciate you very much, very much. And absolutely. Todd, and then there was Todd. What would you say?
Man, I don't even know where to begin, to be honest with you, because like I said, from day one, being humbled, sitting next to these coaches was probably, it was exciting for me. A lot of these guys had known of one another. I know Cheryl and Jason and Melissa, Vicky for quite some time, probably like, who's this tattooed idiot coming here? He doesn't, never heard of this guy before. But I think that, it helped me grow in a lot of ways as well too. You never really know what you're capable of until you put yourself in an environment where, you have to thrive. When I grew up, I was in an environment where, my back was always against the wall. So, it forced me to try to just want to win. And I knew right away that this competition was that. There's a lot of people like, I refuse to lose like you. So from a growth standpoint, I said, well, whether I know how to do something or whether I have the right advice or not, I need to be authentically me, which isn't always for everyone. But the most powerful moments of this competition were watching when I personally was like, oh shit, which way do we turn, right or left? You know what I mean? What decision do I make? So the advice I would give anybody coming into this event is your mind, as creative as it can be, just gets really taken to that next level. When you really dive in and think about what you're capable of, you don't even realize what you're capable of until you have to perform, right? So, and I teach that now a lot through coaching. Put yourself in an uncomfortable position because eventually you're going to realize you're capable of so much more. That was this event. We had to come up with different things, and we couldn't specifically tell you guys what to do, but we could kind of guide you guys on what to do. Little did you know that you were guiding us to be better coaches and better people. Now, I kind of agree with Cheryl. I don't know if they're going to, try to bring me back as the reigning champion. Should I say that again? It sounds so as the reigning champion. Wait, did my internet go out again? I don't know if you heard that. The reigning champion. Oh, you heard? Okay. Yeah, but having third time's a charm. But having someone like you, Tamara, who is just the epitome of never giving up, and whether it be life, you and I have had tears together. We've had conversations of strong, of hope, and where we can actually take that next impactor kind of mindset. And I would just tell people to be ready for a really, really tough run, impactful, life-changing. But if you don't give it a shot, you're never really going to see the ability that you have long-term. So I would tell people on a daily basis, if you're looking to be a coach, and if we're being honest, I don't think it's really fair to bring me back because we're not going to lose again. But if they were, if they were, I would tell other coaches just to literally give it. Pour your heart into this thing. There's no wrong answer. There is no wrong pathway. You are the individual that's going to instill hope and change and difference and impacting lives. And I promise you, it's not always going to be the right choice, but the fact that you are there and you're giving it everything you have will instill power into the people that you talk to on a daily basis they never thought they had. So, I mean, right now, even Christopher Casson, you know, he's in my Make More Sales masterclass I do online. And this guy, dude, he is such a stud. I mean, he is absolutely thriving. I mean, he's closing me. He sent me a message the other day. He's like, the question. I didn't respond to him right away. And he sent me another message like, I see you online. He didn't respond. I was like, damn it. Like, this guy's closing me. Like, I can't, like, he is such a powerhouse. His gift is what I like to call it. You know, his autistic side is a gift. His gift is so strong, and I've connected with him. I've connected him with some people that are in his field with photography and videography. This guy's about to blow up. He's about to take his business to the next level. And I think overall, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, Tamara, the biggest win for me was watching a guy like Christopher Casson, who has this ability to touch lives, put himself in a position where he was not used to. And watching him on stage and watching him fight the fear that's inside him to grab a microphone and speak to, dude, I mean, I get emotional thinking about it now. That's something that we right now, I mean, listen, the first time I spoke on stage, I was like shaking. I didn't know what to say. You know, you guys know that. We've all had that moment where you get on stage and we're lying if we haven't. Now it comes naturally, but every one of us have been there. To have that kind of special power that he has and actually force himself to do what most in his situation wouldn't, dude, it was like the most inspiring moment. So I would tell contestants and coaches, dive in with your entire heart. You will pull something magnificent out of this event, and that will change you forever. And the amount of family that we've built from this and relationships has been just unmatched, in my opinion, anything I've ever done. So.
Well, I really wish I could continue this conversation and go in longer, but we do have a certain amount of time we're supposed to keep it to, and so I want.
Can we just talk shit about Jason while he's off real quick? I mean, I don't know if you guys saw, but he was sitting there like I couldn't see his neck. Does anybody know what happened to his neck? It's gone. It looked like this. I don't know what happened, but I was trying to be respectful, but I'll just talk shit about it. Just fine.
I'm not into that kind of stuff. You can do that later. Not here. And I will say though, what you did say about Christopher, because Christopher works really closely in our community, and I work really closely with him all the time, and he is amazing, and the growth that continues in him, and he's loving your class. In fact, he's not on our Travel Tuesdays with me because he's over with you. So yes, I know that, and he loves it. He loves it. So I want to say, as we are closing this time together, that I personally am so appreciative of each and every moment that you have spent in the Next Impactor brand with all the Next Impactors that were on your teams, everything that you've done with me and for my organization that we are helping on a global basis. That's what this was all about. And I can report to all that we have gone global, and we have only just begun because they decided to make it a 2-year reign. I got 1 more year, guys, and we are going to rock this thing. And so that when anybody hears that they've got cancer, they're going to be able to have that support that I shared, because we are doing something amazing. It should have been done before. Well, guess what? It's being done now. It's being done now. We are taking it and we are making a difference. So I want to say to each and every one of you and those that were not able to be with us, yes, one buddy at a time. One of my senior ambassadors summed it up very beautifully. Thank you, Sherry McQueen. Yes, love you all. Love everybody that was here. And we get to finish up tomorrow night Wednesday night. It's Wednesday night with Christopher Casson. He is doing Through Autistic Eyes, and he's going to have the top 5 on his podcast because we went on there last year, and it will be our reunion. So be watching for that. Be involved with it. We're going to get everything all wrapped up with a pretty little bow by the time we're done with that.
Hey, real quick, Tamara, can we since we're talking about love and support, I want to talk to you about something that's kind of serious about love and support. Can you guys please contact Jason, let him know that his biceps are not bigger than mine? You need to give him all because I feel like he goes in the gym, takes a picture of himself, and then goes back and eats a sandwich. I don't know what happened. I think we need all the love and support you can possibly get right now. So if you could each take time, whoever's on here typing, contact Jason, let him know it's okay.
I love you. I love you. All right, guys. Thank you for your time today. Thank you, everyone, for watching. See you on Friday. Bye.